Hey, it's Adele from Let's Get Inkie, and today this video actually went a little bit missing. It vanished from my, I don't know how it vanished, but I think I accidentally dragged it into the wrong file onto my computer on my hard drive, and so I thought it was gone forever, but I found it and I'm very excited. So today I'm working in my Traveler'S notebook. I use this insert is from the Traveler'S notebook company, and it's the 003 version, and I've got a few photos. They're just random photos of a beach that's near us. We went to some markets and it was a very, very gloomy day, as you can see from this picture, but I nevertheless snapped a picture of it anyway. And then you can tell these photos were from a while ago. This is little Archie when he was, I'm thinking, about 9 months old, and he's now 18 months old. So I had this little house that I was originally going to put on a different page, and I already had attached some double-sided tape to it and was going to stick it on a different layout that I did previously, but I didn't like it. So instead because it already had the adhesive on it, I just flipped to a random page and stuck it in, and that's the page that we're on today. So the houses are there, and I'm going through, this is a Happy Planner Mambi, I think it is, Mambi sticker book that a beautiful subscriber sent me. And I'm just going through and seeing what bits and pieces that I want to use. This page is all using things from my stash, just pretty bits and pieces that I've had lying around. I have if you've watched any of my craft room tours, I have this little dish that has embellishments that just never get back to where they belong. It might be that I picked them out for a page and then decided not to use them, or they're the last little bits of a packet, or they're things that someone sent me in Happy Mail, so I just tuck them in this little bowl. And so I was really trying to go through and use some of those bits and pieces up, because they do accumulate quite quickly. While I'm just sticking on some bits and pieces here, I thought I would tell you something exciting. I have moved my craft room again. Now, this is, I am yet to film a craft room tour for the house that we're in now. We've been in here for a year, and my craft space has been in 3 different locations. It's now entering the 4th location, and I'm hoping to film a craft room tour at some point, but it's a bit of a mission at the moment. I will admit I've crafty things just everywhere. There's crafty things in the lounge room, in the hallway, in the spare room, which is now the new craft room. And I'm hoping to get some time maybe this weekend to really get in and organize stuff, because I've got a few new storage pieces of furniture that I'm using, and so I have to figure out some new ways to store stuff. So keep your eye out for hopefully a room tour in the new year sometime. I've got this little inky quill, and I just had to put that down on here, and there was some leftover. I think those flowers are from an older citrus twist kit, and so I'm just having a lot of fun sticking and plonking. This page didn't take too long to make, and it was really fun just to kind of use up those bits and pieces that I've been looking at for a while and really wanting to get onto my projects. I'm adding some washi. I really need to use my washi more often. Yesterday actually, I went through I've got 3 Rascog trolleys, carts, whatever you may call them, and they're not being used as efficiently as they could be. Basically, I'm only using the top shelves of all of them and maybe the second shelf of one of them, and so I've reconfigurated, that's not a word, but I've redone them, and I've put my washi in a much more easier spot for me to reach, and so I'm hoping that it means that I'll use it more often in my projects, because it's such a useful supply to just add that little bit of background color, or maybe just add a bit of a pattern to a blank space that would have otherwise been a bit bland or a bit empty. I'm going through the sticker book, and at the back these are meant for planners, but I find them really good as little sprinkly bits, and so I'm just adding some little asterisks over the place here, there and everywhere. I thought, even though this photo is very gloomy and rainy, I thought I'd brighten it up with lots of florals, all the florals for today. And it's sometimes nice to kind of challenge your photos a little bit if you are scrapbooking or scrap journaling, as I've coined what this journal is, because sometimes it's nice to most of the time I would follow the colors of the photo, or maybe the theme that it's evoking. Like, so here I might have done more of a bluey grey beach kind of feel, but I decided against that for today, just for something a little bit different, just to try something new. So I'm using my Tombow dual brush markers, and I'm just writing a few little brush lettering titles here, and I've got sunny days and grey skies. I think that's what I write. Yes, it is. And I just thought that it was nice to add these big bold titles in these empty spaces. So then I was in a bit of a doodly mood, so I'm using my Rotring, I think that's the brand, Tiki Graphic 0.1 pen, and I'm just doodling around some little hearts around this little quote or phrase, whatever you may call it. And I purposely didn't leave too much space for journaling on this page, because there wasn't that much to write about. And I think that's what I love about the freedom of a Traveler's notebook as opposed to Project Life. I feel when I do a Project Life page, I feel like there has to be a lot of photos. And I know there doesn't have to be, but in my head, I just feel like it doesn't look complete unless there's a lot of photos on a single page. Whereas with a journal page, I feel like I can either have a very photo heavy page, I can have a very embellishment heavy page, or I can have a very journal heavy page. I kind of feel a little bit more freedom in my Traveler's notebooks, which I know is silly, and there are no rules in any paper crafting or creative thingies, but that's just the way my head rolls, and that's just what my thoughts are. So I'm adding a few little dangly stars. I was going through a big dangly star phase at this point. I think I had just created a Patreon printable that had dangly stars, and I was putting them everywhere. I'm also outlining my brush lettering because I just feel like it makes it pop a little bit more. And then I added my journaling off camera just because it was just filling in a few little spots with writing, and you can't really see with my hand in the way. This is one of my Patreon printables from February that's no longer available, but I just had some little phrases that I wanted to stick in, and I don't know why I decided to use my Scotch tacky glue for this. I usually would use a glue stick or double-sided tape. I very rarely use wet glue in my Traveler's notebook. It must have been that it was within arm's reach, and I just went for it. So that kind of baffled me a little bit when I was watching this footage back. Usually I find that a glue stick is the best thing for sticking down like magazine images or thin embellishments in my Traveler's notebooks, just because it doesn't crinkle the previous page. I also do use double-sided tape, usually with the photos, just to give them a little bit of extra strength in holding them down. And this page is all done. I hope you enjoyed it. I've had lots of fun playing my Traveler's notebook this year. I'm really trying to get back into them, and I'm hoping to have at least one video every month over here on Let's Get Inkie, as well as art journaling and some junk journaling and some hauls and all sorts of things. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye!